When you're moving to the Seattle area, there are a lot of location options for you to choose from. However, I find that list of locations quickly gets narrowed down based on an individual's employment status and where they'll be working and what their commute might be like. Whether you work in office in Seattle or Bellevue 5 days a week, you work hybrid, or you're fully remote or retired, this can really change the types of locations you're looking at in terms of Seattle suburbs here where you'd be comfortable moving. After helping people relocate here to the Seattle area for over 5 years now, I've seen a trend of where people typically go based on what their employment is. So in this category, I'm gonna go over some of the top destinations and locations where people move to when relocating here based on 3 different categories. The first category is for those that are working in Seattle or Bellevue 5 days a week and have to commute. The second category is for those that are working hybrid, maybe they're in office 2 or 3 days a week. And then the third category is for those that work fully remote, are retired, or maybe work in a location that's further north or further south in the Seattle metropolitan area. Of these 3 categories, I've got 11 different cities that I see most of my personal relocation buyers are moving to. So I'm gonna give you all the info that you need to know to help you figure out where some spots might be that would work best for your lifestyle. Let's start with category number 1, and this is for those that are commuting to the Seattle or Bellevue area 5 days a week for their job. I've got 4 cities in this category. Let's start it off with city number 1, which is Edmonds. Edmonds is located 15 miles north of Seattle. This is gonna be the most budget-friendly location on this list. The median home price in Edmonds right now currently is $1,050,000. Now, like I said, Edmonds is located just directly north of Seattle, so there are a lot of people that commute into downtown Seattle 5 days a week here from the Edmonds area. Now, Edmonds is a waterfront community right here on the Puget Sound, so depending on what neighborhood you're in and how far west you are in Edmonds, you could have some great views of the Puget Sound from your neighborhood. They've got a great downtown walkable area with many different shops and restaurants right there on the water with ferry access, multiple beaches, an off-leash dog beach, a couple different beaches for people to walk around and just enjoy the Puget Sound. This is certainly one of the best small downtowns here in the entire Seattle metropolitan area. You could also take advantage of the light rail if you're here in Edmonds. You could drive to the Linwood, the Mountain Lake Terrace, or one of the Shoreline light rail stations, park your car, and take the train the rest of the way into downtown Seattle. All right, city number 2 here on the list is Bothell. Now, Bothell is located 17 miles northeast of Seattle, and the median home price here is $1,159,000. Now, Bothell has really grown and exploded quite a bit in the last decade or two with the expansion of all the tech jobs here on the east side. Now, the east side is what we refer to as Bellevue, Kirkland, Redmond, which is east of Lake Washington. Now, of course, we have so many tech companies over here like Amazon and Microsoft, Meta, Google, and many, many others. So there are a lot of tech workers that work here on the east side 5 days a week, and they live here in Bothell because that commute going from Bothell to the east side is very, very doable. There's also a number of people that live in Bothell and commute over to downtown Seattle for a job over there. Now, Bothell has a little downtown area as well that was really revitalized in the last 10 to 15 years. More shops and restaurants going on there and a nice little walkable location. You're gonna find a lot of different types of neighborhoods and real estate throughout Bothell. Lots of homes that were built up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and you're gonna find some new construction as well. You're not gonna find massive, sprawling, new development communities with 200-300 new homes because there's not the land available, but you will find some one-off newer communities with 10 to 20 homes, or maybe some more recent resales of homes that were built in 2019 up to 2023, 2024. So you're gonna have a wide range of different types of properties. You can also get a bit more space here in Bothell if you wanted an acre or 2 acres. You can find that as well. People also move here because of the schools that are really well rated here in the Bothell area. All right, city number 3 on the list is just a neighbor of Bothell. This is Kirkland. So Kirkland is 10 miles northeast of Seattle, and the median home price currently is $1.7 million. So of course we see this huge jump in home price because Kirkland is certainly one of the most desirable places to live in the entire Seattle metropolitan area. It is proximity to the best, highest paying jobs in the state. You have Google right here in Kirkland, and like I said, you've got Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, and many other tech companies here on the east side, very close to Kirkland. Now, Kirkland is gonna have some great luxury homes. It's gonna have a lot of 70s, 80s, and 90s built homes, your typical cul-de-sac communities, and it's gonna have some older 50s and 60s built homes as well. So you've got a wide range of options. You've got a great downtown area here. This is one of the other locations that has one of the best small downtowns in the entire metropolitan area. Right here in downtown Kirkland, it's right on Lake Washington, so you have some great water views, a ton of great local shops and restaurants, a very walkable location. Just up the street, you have the new Kirkland Urban Campus, which has some more shopping, it has the Google offices, and some more storefronts down down in that location. Overall, Kirkland provides you a great lifestyle with the access to the lake and the access to some of the highest paying jobs, as well as some of the best rated schools in the entire state. Again, whether you're working here on the east side in the Kirkland area, or if you're working over in Seattle, this location is commutable 5 days a week. All right, the last city on this category is going to be Issaquah. So Issaquah is located 15 miles east of Seattle, and the median home price currently is $1.3 million. Now, Issaquah is another one of these cities that's considered on the east side. You've got, again, Bellevue, Kirkland, Redmond, Sammamish, and Issaquah. So again, Issaquah is hyper commutable to those jobs there in Bellevue, Kirkland, Redmond, everything there on the east side. It's also commutable 5 days a week for those that might be working in downtown Seattle. Now, Issaquah is another one of those locations that is extremely desirable in this area. You get a bit more of a break on pricing when you come out here to Issaquah versus a Kirkland or a Bellevue or a Redmond. Now, Issaquah is going to give you that quintessential Pacific Northwest vibe. It is so wooded, just soaring evergreen trees everywhere. If you're an outdoor enthusiast, this is one of the best locations you can live because you have such great access to so many different hiking trails right here in Issaquah and in the nearby cities. Right here in Issaquah, or just a quick drive out to the mountain pass. People love Issaquah for its, again, forested, wooded, just naturey feel out here. Now, there's a lot of different types of neighborhoods. You can live on Tiger Mountain or Cougar Mountain and have a very forested or woody neighborhood, have a lot of privacy with a quarter acre, half acre, or acre lot. Or you can live somewhere like the Issaquah Highlands, which is a much newer development here over the last decade or two, where you've got so many new single family homes, new townhomes, new shopping centers, a new hospital. This is going to feel a bit more like a quintessential master plan community with so much of the newer construction that's happened here over the last decade. So Issaquah is going to give you a lot of options, and of course you have great access to Lake Sammamish as well. All right, let's move on to category number 2 here. Now, this category, like I mentioned, is for those that might work hybrid. Maybe you go to office 2 or 3 days a week, so you're looking for a location where it's still doable to do that commute, but you're not relying 5 days a week, so you're willing to go maybe a little bit further out and deal with a little bit worse of a commute for those 2 or 3 days. So city number 1 here on this list is Mill Creek. Now, Mill Creek is 20 miles northeast of Seattle. It's actually just north of Bothell, which we talked about on the previous category. The median home price right here in Mill Creek is $1,025,000. Now, what I will say about Mill Creek here is sometimes it does overlap into the previous category. There are people that live in Mill Creek that commute into office, Seattle or Bellevue, 5 days a week. There's a lot of people that do that. I've often found that a lot of my clients, that's kind of where the edge starts, is Mill Creek is sometimes okay, sometimes it's pushing it a little bit for a 5 day a week commute, but certainly if it's only 2 or 3 days a week, that's where they're like, yeah, that's totally okay, I'm great with that location. So it could work for you again if you're a 5 day a week commuter, just depending on how much traffic you're willing to put up with. But Mill Creek is a pretty small area. It's not a huge city. It's got a little Mill Creek Town Center, which is a great spot. It's got tons of different, again, shops and restaurants, very walkable location, community events. You've got the Mill Creek Country Club, which is a great neighborhood if you're looking for kind of that country club lifestyle with some really nice homes, some different and more unique architecture through the country club neighborhood. It's not just all stale cookie cutter construction like we see in a lot of newer neighborhoods. It's not a newer neighborhood. The Mill Creek Country Club neighborhood was developed in the 70s and 80s, so they're older homes, but you have some unique characteristics with them, and it can be a great place to live. There's other neighborhoods around Mill Creek as well, smaller one-off neighborhoods through the city. All right, location number 2 on this list is Maple Valley. So Maple Valley is located 25 miles southeast of Seattle, and this is where we start to see a big drop in those median home prices. Median home prices here in Maple Valley are $780,000. Now, Maple Valley, again, for those that are driving 5 days a week, there's some people that do that. It is a stretch. I wouldn't do that. But for those that might be commuting 2 or 3 days a week in, it can be doable to live here. Now, Maple Valley is, again, an area that's really grown a lot in the last 10 to 15 years, especially with how expensive the east side has gotten in those cities and people looking for an alternative just a little bit further out and be able to get more bang for their buck. Maple Valley is known for their school district, the Tahoma School District, which you'll see on all the major rating sites. It's rated very high, one of the top in the state. You're gonna have lots of different types of real estate to choose from. There's been a good amount of new construction here in the Maple Valley area over the last 5 to 10 years. You're also gonna see a lot of neighborhoods that were built up in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Another thing you can find here in Maple Valley is larger lots with acreage. So if you're looking for something that's 1 acre, 2 or 3 acres, you can find that here in Maple Valley as well. All right, city number 3 on this list is Snohomish. Now, Snohomish is located 30 miles northeast of Seattle, and the median home price here is $950,000. Now, Snohomish has a very large footprint. It's deceivingly large. You look at the population count and it doesn't look huge, but the actual footprint of Snohomish is quite large. You're gonna have homes with a Snohomish address that feel like you're almost in Mill Creek, one of the previous cities that we just talked about on this list, or you're gonna have homes in Snohomish that are located quite a bit further north and add quite a bit to that commute. So this is another one of those cities that's on the edge. If you're on the south side of Snohomish, it could be something where you might be okay commuting 5 days a week if it gets you more bang for your buck. If you're on the north side of Snohomish, you probably don't want to commute 5 days a week because that extra stretch adds quite a bit to the commute. Now, Snohomish is known for a few different things. It has a great historic downtown. When we talk about some of the best small downtowns in the Seattle metropolitan area, we've mentioned Edmonds and Kirkland previously. Snohomish is on that list as well. It's got a great historic downtown with many shops and restaurants, lots of community events through the year, and just a very walkable location. Snohomish is known for lots of farmland around it, so you have tons of corn mazes and pumpkin patches, wedding venues. All of the fall time activities going on are happening right here in Snohomish, so it's a great attraction for that. Christmas tree farms. You can go out to the local small airport and go skydiving. Now, when it comes to the types of real estate you can find here in Snohomish, this is one of the cities where you're gonna find the largest variety. You can find, like I said, especially there on the south side of Snohomish, as you get closer to Mill Creek, you can find a lot of newer construction homes that were built, 2010, 2015, 2020. More of your a bit more cookie cutter cul-de-sac neighborhoods. You're gonna have a number of neighborhoods built up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and you're also gonna have a ton of acreage property around here. So if you want something, whether it's 1 acre or you want 20 acres, you can find that right here in Snohomish. Older homes, newer homes, lakefront homes. You can find so many different types of real estate here in the Snohomish area. That's one of the big reasons that people like to move up here, is because they feel like it gives them a bit more of that small town lifestyle, but still great access to all the amenities, schools, jobs, and everything that you're gonna need. All right, the last one in this category is Lake Stevens. Now, Lake Stevens is located 35 miles northeast of Seattle. It currently has a median home price of $750,000. Now, Lake Stevens is right next to Snohomish, just on the north side of Snohomish. So this is another one that can kind of bleed between two categories. I put it here on the hybrid. If you're working 2 to 3 days in office in Seattle or Bellevue, you could potentially choose this location. For some people, this gets a bit too far for that at that point. For some people, they say, hey, I'm only gonna live up in Lake Stevens if I have a job that's further north, or if I'm working remote or retired or something like that. However, Lake Stevens is one of those locations that has grown a lot in recent years, and for good reason. It's a great place to live. The city is located and centered right around the lake, Lake Stevens, so you've got great lake access. If you've got a boat, kayak, paddleboards, want to take the kids out and go to one of the public beaches and go swimming, play on the playground, tons of community events here. There's a lot to do right here in Lake Stevens. People will also come here for the schools, as it's one of the better rated school districts here in Snohomish County. And again, people coming up here to get more for their money. $750,000 is the median home price, so you can get quite a bit more here than you could on a lot of the places on our list to this point. There's been a lot of new construction over the last 10 years, so you can find a new home, or you can find a home that's maybe only 2 or 3 years old. There's also a ton of neighborhoods built up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. This commute starts to get quite difficult down to Seattle or Bellevue, which is why I said it's a little bit iffy depending on what you're willing to put up with, and if you're somebody that has to be in office 2 or 3 days a week, or you just work remote, or work maybe further on the north side in a city like Everett, maybe at Boeing, or another job closer to Lake Stevens. All right, we're gonna go to the last category here. This is for folks that work completely remote, that work further outside of Seattle or Bellevue, north or south, or that are retired. These 3 locations on this list are the 3 most common cities that I have people relocating to in those cases. Let's start with number 1, and this is Gig Harbor. This is by far the most popular on this list of locations that people are relocating to in this situation. The reason for that is Gig Harbor is absolutely beautiful. If you want quintessential Pacific Northwest, probably no better place than Gig Harbor. As you drive onto Gig Harbor, you're gonna have great water views of the harbor there, of the Puget Sound. Just so many great water views from so many different vantage points. Gig Harbor is also very wooded, so you have soaring evergreen trees everywhere. You have great access to trails and just overall outdoor recreation. And this is really a location that's very friendly for those that are outdoor enthusiasts, or just maybe more low-key outdoor enthusiasts, but want to enjoy the water, want to be able to go on walks around easy trails, and just enjoy the nature and being outside. Now, Gig Harbor is located 43 miles southwest of Seattle, and the median home price here currently is $800,000. So you can see it's 43 miles outside of Seattle. Is there people that live here in Gig Harbor and drive into Seattle or Bellevue 2 or 3 days a week for work? Yes, there is. Would I do that personally? Probably not. That drive has gotten pretty rough, pretty brutal. So it really is suited better for those that work remote, maybe for those that have a job closer closer to the Gig Harbor area, or for those that are retired. It's very friendly for retirees as well. Again, you've got a lot of different types of real estate. You have some more historic homes right in town, right in downtown, that give you walkable access to shops and restaurants. You're gonna have typical 70s, 80s, and 90s built communities. You're gonna have the country club community, which is Canterwood, the golf course community, beautiful neighborhood there if you want to spend a little bit more on your home, or you can again find a lot of homes on acreage. Whether you want 1 acre or 5 acres or more, you can find a lot of more wooded, more private property. All right, city number 2 on this list is Bonnie Lake. Now, Bonnie Lake is located 38 miles southeast of Seattle. Now, this is the cheapest home prices on this entire video on this list. Home prices here, median home prices currently are $654,000. Now, really, Bonnie Lake has blown up and really grown a lot for one big reason, and that one big reason is a new construction community called Tahale. So here in the Seattle area, because we don't have a ton of land available, we don't have these massive, sprawling master plan communities currently being built with new construction that you see in a lot of other states in the US, particularly down south in places like Texas and Florida and many other states. It's very uncommon here because we don't have huge plots of land available that make that possible. There is a couple of exceptions, and Tahale here in Bonnie Lake is one of those big exceptions. So Tahale is a huge master plan community that's been going on for a decade or so. It's continuing to build out. There's going to be more and more and more new construction. So you can go into Tahale right now, have your choice of 5 to 6 different builders, look at a ton of different floor plans, and be able to build a new construction home for a much more friendly price than you can really get anywhere else in the Seattle metropolitan area. Now, the median home price here in Bonnie Lake in total, I said, was $654,000. That median home price will be more expensive here in Tahale because it's all the new construction, just taking into account this neighborhood. But you can buy a new home in Tahale for $700,000 to $950,000 and up from there if you want to spend more. But it is a lot more friendly for new construction prices, again, than if you're getting closer to Seattle and Bellevue. It's tough to find anything under $1 million, sometimes under 1.5. So this provides a more friendly option, again, for those that are maybe focused specifically on new construction. Bonnie Lake itself as the city is starting to grow more and more, so you've got access to a lot of the local stores and shops, doctor's offices, everything that you're gonna need. It also has some great views of Mount Rainier coming in and out of Tahale and really around Bonnie Lake in general. All right, we've got one more city here in this category and on this list in total. Now, this is Arlington. Arlington is located 45 miles north of Seattle, and the median home price here is $715,000. So again, if you work in Seattle or Bellevue, you don't want to live in Arlington. That commute is absolutely brutal. But if you're remote, you work maybe on the north side, maybe you're a Boeing worker in Everett, or you're retired, Arlington can certainly be a great place to live. Now, Arlington is known as a bit more rural community. You've got a lot of acreage property out here, so if you're somebody that's looking for a home with a lot more space, you can certainly find that. There's farmland out here. It's also got a very nice little historic downtown area that's very walkable with shops and restaurants, tons of community events through the year, so there's a good amount going on here. You're right on the Stillaguamish River, so you can enjoy some riverside activities as well. On the south side of Arlington, it's called Smoky Point, and Smoky Point has all of your shopping that you need, like Costco, Target, doctor's offices, everything right here in the Smoky Point area. Overall, it's a lot more budget-friendly location and gets you out of the city if you're looking for a little bit of a slower paced lifestyle. All right, well, this wraps up the list. Like I said, these are probably the 11 most popular locations that I have personal clients relocating here to the Seattle area from out of state, again, based on these 3 categories. Now, if that sounds like you and you're somebody that's moving over here to the Seattle area and you want some more information and want to dissect further where some locations would work for you, what the best spots would be for you to consider on your move based on the lifestyle you're looking for and criteria you need to meet on the location and the type of home, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you with that process, get you over here, get you in the right location, the right home that you're very happy with. You can reach out to me at my info below, and I'd be more than happy to jump on a call with you and see how we can help make that move over here to the Seattle area a lot easier on you. Thanks for watching this one.